Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to another Heat post-game recap. This one is about Game 4 versus the New York Knicks. And joining me today, making his debut on Sports with So, we got none other than my family, my dog, my New York brethren, New York fan, Rich, in the building. What's up, brother?
What's up, Steven? Good luck. First time, long time, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, bro.
Appreciate you having me.
You're one of the biggest New York Knicks fans that I know, so it wouldn't be right, you know what I mean? If I had the homie DJ Monopoly on, shout out to him, shout out to Dan, and not have you on, the guy who connected us. So, you know, I had to give you your outlet for this Knicks ass whooping that you guys got.
Yeah, I like how we're doing this after being down 3-1, but I'd rather be up 3-1 than down 3-1, but it's all good. You know, I appreciate you having me. So.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Rich, you watched the whole game from a Knicks perspective. Tell me what your thoughts were on the first half, because it was pretty competitive, you know, after a quarter, and pretty competitive heading into halftime as well. It was 56-48.
Yeah, I think right from the jump, the first thing I noticed, first play, Julius Randle foul, right off the rip. They come down. He's trying to get position in the post. Gets a stupid foul, turnover, Heat ball, right? It's a kind of meaningless. It's the first possession of the game, but guy ends up fouling out, right? With 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So it's like stupid things like that throughout the game that just they didn't really have an answer for it for the Heat too. And what I saw too was just hustle and grit from the Heat, right? They came out, they knew they could get this game, and they just put it to them, man. We can go over the stats here in a little bit, but you saw the game, and I just didn't see it out of the Knicks tonight. I thought Game 3, I saw it. I was like, all right, that was an ass whooping. You know, we deserve that one. And I thought they would turn around for Game 4 and get up for this, and it was more of the same, to be honest with you.
But I felt like the difference in this game, especially in the first half, was Bam. Bam came out and played with a lot of energy, like you said, dog. He really took I don't want to say a next step, but you can tell that he looked like his dangerous self, you know, more than he's had looked like that over the last 2 months. Dude ended up with 16 points, going 7 of 11 from the field in the first half. That's a big boost to a Heat team, right? That has been dependent, you know, say what you will, but they've been dependent on Jimmy Butler, right? As Jimmy Butler goes, the rest of the Miami Heat go. But to see Bam come out and be that aggressive was definitely a difference maker for me, because it felt like that just meant that the size advantage that you guys have in Randall and Robinson and Hartenstein, that was negated because Bam's aggressiveness was out there. Dude has 7 rebounds in the first half, man.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. These guys, I mean, I wrote myself a note that I got tired of watching Bam fly down the lane. I mean, it's like the simplest thing: no ball control at the point guard position. Defense collapses, and you get a cutter coming in. And Bam was one of those guys that can leap and actually finish at the rim. You know, Mitchell Robinson being 7'10" or however tall he is, and Hartenstein, you know, those guys are big guys. And Bam was just coming down the lane, full steam, 2 steps, and he must have had at least 6 dunks. You know, I don't have the dunk numbers in front of me, but he must have had at least 6 easy finishes at the rim. So that was, yeah, unstoppable tonight. And like you're saying, good energy from them from the get-go.
Yeah. You know who else had good energy for you guys that I felt really made an impact throughout the entire game for the Knicks was RJ Barrett. He really showed out that when called upon, right, he can give you those games and be a real decisive threat. You know, because say what you will about Brunson, you know, and we'll talk about his 30-point performance later on, but RJ Barrett really kept the Knicks in the game. He was hitting big shots, getting to the free throw line. Like, he was doing everything for the Knicks and really keeping them in them. As a fan of him, you know, how reassuring was that? Like, yo, it's good to see this guy giving us something, because we got a second option going tonight besides Brunson.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big RJ Barrett fan. He's very streaky, I would say, right? He's got those games where he can put up and fill up the stat sheet, or other nights he's a 7-point player. And tonight was one of those nights, and we needed him, right? Yeah, Brunson was out there giving hustle from the get-go, and it was great to see RJ Barrett turn the corner a couple of times. I think he took one up on Jimmy and just scored easy buckets, right? So it's like, hey, it doesn't always have to be Brunson bringing the ball up, right? It doesn't have to be Brunson. I saw a lot of the game. Gabe Vincent was pestering Brunson the whole game, and I saw Barrett bring up the ball a few times. I'm like, hey, that's what you need, right? You need more than one ball handle out there. So having RJ Barrett out there to impact the game was big for us tonight. He put in 24 points on 9 of 16, 3 for 5 from the 3-point line, and 3 free throws, 3 for 3. I mean, solid night for him. You know, he wasn't the problem tonight. There's a lot of other fingers to point tonight on the Knicks side.
Who's the guy that you would point the finger at?
I'm gonna point the finger at Julius Randle. I mean, he puts in 20, right? It wasn't pretty getting there. I don't think it was his most efficient night. 1 for 4 from 3, 25%. Heck, I think you can still get out there and shoot 25% from 3. You know,
I'll probably hit 1 or 2.
You probably hit 1 or 2, right? I mean, if you put them up like that, right? 8 for 13 from the field, 9 rebounds. All right, 3 steals, 3 assists. I mean, so it just. But he looked like he was struggling all night. He didn't look – he's best when he's decisive, right? He catches the ball, 1 or 2 seconds, make a move, put up a shot. Dribbling the ball 10 seconds, 9 seconds of the shot clock. That's not really his game, and they can collapse on him, and his passing wasn't superior tonight. Right in the beginning, too, I saw him pass to Jalen Brunson or whatever the half-court line, and guess who swoops in? The Heat players swoop in, and guess who gets back?
Yeah.
Brunson and 3 Heat players.
Yeah.
He's there complaining at the half-court line about the miscommunication he had, and meanwhile, you got 3 Miami Heat players flying down for easy layups. Now, So I'm pointing the finger at Julius Randle tonight, even though he did – the stat sheet looks all right.
But I would agree with you. His effort wasn't there, Like, even the announcers made an emphasis to say, like, this Knicks team isn't even running back after turnovers, right? And we saw a bunch of turnovers in the first half that kind of helped the lead keep that lead. And it kind of felt like he was very passive. He took whatever the defense was giving him and just really shot when he didn't necessarily have the best option. He took it anyways. It felt like he left a lot out there to be desired, man. And it's crazy to see a guy with his talent, right, and his versatility not have that aggressiveness in all aspects of the game, and it really made a difference tonight, especially in the stat line. The stat line says he scored 20 points, but it was almost like an empty 20 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think he's got to get right if we have any chance here. Yeah, we need 20. We need more than 20. And Brunson's got to get some help, man. He put in 32 tonight on 10 for 21. 2 for 7. I mean, the guy's out there trying to do everything, right? And he's got to bring up the ball, and he's got to play defense. It's one guy, So I mean,
and he's been rough as of late of 3. Over the season he's been a much better 3-point shooter than what he's shown to be so far in this series, right? We still haven't seen that blown up 3-point performance from Brunson yet, but he definitely finds ways to score. He's a guy that it's very hard to keep out of the paint. In the fourth quarter, he must have got like 4 layups or 4 little bunny shots inside the paint, which is just a high percentage shot for a guy like of his size and his quickness to get there and be able to create like that is very tough to deal with. But I felt good in our defense, right, in the way that it showed up, because we forced so many turnovers. You guys had a total of 17 turnovers. We were able to get 22 points off those turnovers. And in comparison, that he had 13 turnovers, and you guys got 15 points off of them. The rebounding story was also a big factor. I rebounded you guys by 9 tonight, 44-35. That high factor, like I said earlier on the program, like it just got negated with Bam's aggressiveness, and it felt like Jimmy fed off of that because he ended up having, Bam had the triple-double, he had the double-double with 13 rebounds. Jimmy ends up with 27 and gets 10 assists with 6 rebounds. Just felt like Jimmy didn't have to do everything for a guy who's been putting on big performances for the Heat.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The offensive rebounding, which, in the rebounding period, I thought would be a strength for the Knicks with the size that we have. And it just wasn't there tonight. Turnover and hustles are 2 things and rebounds that are 2 things that come up due to hustle, right? Offensive rebounds, 8 for the Knicks, 13 for Miami. Defensive rebounds, 27 for the Knicks, 31 for Miami. There must have been a 2-minute stretch. It felt like 20 minutes where the Heat keep getting the offensive rebound in the fourth
quarter, right?
And you must have had at least 4 shots on offensive rebounds. In the game, Kyle Lowry gets an offensive rebound at the free throw line. Like the smallest guy on the court. Why is he catching? I mean, I know it's the end of the game. People are kind of checking out of that. But it's like, it's just those little hustle plays, man. They had so many. He had so many, and the Knicks just had no answer for you, man. I will say, props to the Heat, man. The Heat are coming out. I thought coaching would be on our advantage.
Wait a second. You think Tibbs is a better coach than Spo?
Coming into this series, I really thought that would be an advantage for us.
Man,
after 4 games, I am convinced that is a wrong take.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you got to remember, like, no disrespect to Tibbs in his own right. He's a great coach, but you're talking about a guy who has championship caliber, bro. He's been there, seen it through the worst of things and through the best of things. So Spo's experience as a coach, man, is just overwhelming, and even in this game, he overtook Pat Riley. Excuse me. And as far as wins as a play in the postseason, like, this is his 103rd playoff victory. Third coach with that many playoff wins on one team. Popovich is the other one, and Phil Jackson is the other one. With San Antonio and the Lakers and the Bulls. But like, Spo's advantage in series is highly underrated. I would say by your comment, right? Like, people probably thought the same thing in Milwaukee with Mike Budenholzer, right? And he ended up getting fired by Milwaukee because he wasn't able to deliver against an 8th seeded, Miami Heat team. And now the Knicks are going through the same thing with Tibbs. Heading back to New York 3-1. I gotta assume that you're feeling confident, but what are you really feeling for Game 5 coming up, man?
Game 5, we feeling good. Going back to the
Garden. Good or feeling all right?
Feeling good. No, feeling good. Game 5, everyone's gonna get their rest at home, get to work in their facilities, and go up to Dykeman, get their chimichurri or whatever they gotta get. Whatever they gotta do here in New York. But I think they get Game 5 just because that home crowd's going to be on fire. I think that they're going to feed off the energy, and hopefully can get a Game 5. And then Game 6 back in Miami is going to be – not going to be pretty. We'll see how Game 5 goes before I talk about Game 6. Let's get through Game 5 and get a dub before we talk about Game 6 and Game 7. But, the series outlook is not looking too hot, but I think Game 5 is ours for the taking, at least. So
it's definitely going to be a tall order, right? Because we have yet to see the Jimmy game. Where he goes off for 40 something points or something like that. Like, we've yet to get that, and I feel like he's always capable of that, and he's probably looking towards the challenge, right, of playing at MSG at the Garden, and putting on a performance to close out the Knicks. It's going to be tough. I expect both teams to keep the defensive effort up, because as this be a good win for the Heat, we only scored 109 points. After that first game where both teams were on fire from 3, we've seen the defense ramp up, on both ends of the court and, make it really hard to score 110 points. And it feels like the team who gets to 100 or gets to 110 points wins the game, right? And the Heat have been able to do that. So Game 5 is going to be that in New York for sure.
Yeah, the unders have been kind of flying. If you're out there gambling, right, the over-unders, the unders have been really good on this series. They've moved the numbers down quite a bit because it's kind of a defensive battle. And one other thing I'll mention about the defense, I referee now, right? So I get a third view of this game, right? Most people see offense, defense. Now I also watch the refereeing within these games, which is just a whole different element of like how things work, how the mechanisms of the game is going. And what I notice now more than ever is how they work the refs, right? How coaches and players work the refs, right? You complain now to try and get a call later. And, you're trying to go through things like, hey, what am I supposed to do? This guy's running into me. I would say that the way that this series is being called is very physical, and they're letting them play, which highly favors the Heat, right? Yes. The Heat want to get in there, want to get gritty Jimmy, right? They're absorbing that persona. Good for them. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and they're taking advantage of all the advantages they can, right? And the Knicks are just not responding to that. I will say though, these offensive charges, man, if Spo is teaching that, he can write a book on that and retire tomorrow. Because I don't get how these guys are getting every offensive charging call. I thought I knew what a charging call was. I got to go back to the playbook and read that rule book again, because
I mean, I can give you the explanation. The explanation is called culture. You know, when you talk about and people continue to bash on that, you know what I mean? But like, you know what Miami Heat basketball is. It is what you said, right? That nitty gritty basketball. We're gonna rebound the ball on defense. We're gonna make it really hard for you guys to get offensive rebounds. We're gonna scramble for balls. We're gonna dive for loose balls. We're gonna take charges. You know, and you got to learn that as to become a Heat player. You know, that's why we see guys like Caleb Martin, Highsmith, you know, Duncan, all these guys, Struz, all these guys have learned how to take charges from being with the Heat. And even LeBron has taken charges in the Heat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of the culture here. It's part of what's expected in order for you to be part of the defensive unit, because we know we're not, you know, the most glamorous offense out there, you know, so we stay consistent with the defense.
And I tell you what, Kevin Love has just like seamlessly plug and play. This guy is just got out there taking at least 2 charges a game, I would say. He's got to be averaging near two charges, and then just knocking down open threes when he can, right? He's probably giving you probably 10, somewhere in the 10 to 15 points a night, which is huge. And it's a continuation of things, right? So here's how it goes, right? You get an offensive rebound, the defense is out of place, and boom, who's in the corner waiting with his feet behind the 3-point line? It's Kevin Love for an open 3, right? Bam. So that's how you win games, right? You get those offensive rebounds, you get those points off that. So,
and even if he doesn't shoot it, you know, he finds a way to make the right pass. You know what I mean? With his experience, he finds a way to make the right pass.
He must have made he makes at least one Tom Brady like throw a day, man. On a made 3-point shot tonight, he took it out of the net and threw it
for a layup,
85 feet to Jimmy on a dime.
Yeah.
On a made 3-point shot, I was like, "Oh, wow, we're in for it."
Experience, man, experience. But yeah,
that's another one on the Knicks side. Way too many guys shooting threes and looking at it like it was going to go in. I saw way too much of that. They put up an open 3 and they're holding that wrist up, you know, and trying to be Steph Curry, and then the ball misses, and then they're out of defensive position. And guess who's down at the other end doing pizza mañana and salsa in the paint? Is Jimmy Butler getting easy buckets. Yeah,
we saw a lot of that tonight, man. The fast break points or the fast break game definitely, you know, favored the Heat. They were able to take advantage of it and really create that space, you know, to give themselves a pretty comfortable win at home, back-to-back win at homes. You know, some could have argued that it could have been a sweep, maybe, right? Maybe. But you know, now you're facing the task of being a really good team. Now you have to go on the road and close out a series, right? You have to be able to show that you have that type of grit within you and go out there and put a real good performance. And I don't know. I'm hoping that the Heat can pull it off. I'm sure you're hoping that the Knicks can pull off the victory at home.
Couple more games.
What I do know is that we're gonna both be watching and texting each other like we have been the whole series.
Yeah, for sure, man. Wednesday night at MSG, clear the calendars again and sit down and hopefully pull one out here, man. We'll see. I think the keys to this next game's got to be helping out Jalen Brunson, and Randall's got to play to that elite level that he can play, right? To what he was last year, and stop with these silly turnovers and hustle. I don't know what these guys are gonna have. They gotta have the Gatorade from the Monstars and squirt that for this next game or in 3. So
I don't know if that's gonna help, but I do expect them to have like 25 and 15. You know, that type of game. You know, just with the energy that's gonna be at the Garden, dog. It's just gonna be wild, man. So I'm interested to see how the Heat respond to that energy. It's gonna be rocking for sure on Wednesday night, man. Yeah. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great, man. This game was great for me, obviously. Probably not as great for you, but I'll tell you this much. I enjoyed breaking this down with you so much, man. It's like a long life checklist being checked off, man. So I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And these are great. I love the show, man. Keep it up, and we'll keep watching the playoffs here. See how South Florida sports keep doing, you know?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I appreciate you, my bro. And everybody else, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another recap. I appreciate having Richie on the show. A good perspective from a New York Knicks fan. Tried and true, trust me. And we're going to keep bringing you these Pizza Mañana's victories. And make sure to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Until next time, it's your boy So. Peace.